Hi everyone, my name is Adam, metric number 148424, and I would like to talk about teenage suicide. First of all, what is teenage suicide? The simplest definition would be it is a suicide where teenage causes his or her own death on purpose. It can be categorized into several types, which includes egoistic suicide, altruistic suicide, anomic suicide, which is the most common one, and the last one, fatalistic suicide. Egoistic suicide is when people are being alone and subsequently see themselves alone within this world. This type of people has low social interaction with others. Next one, altruistic suicide is when there is a social group involvement is too high and the expectations of a group is being met at the very high level, such as a sacrifice for a cult or religion. For instance, a suicidal bomber. Next one, anomic suicide relates to a low degree of regulation, and this type of suicide is carried out during periods of considerable stresses and frustrations. Last one, fatalistic suicide is when people are being kept at a very tight regulation, when there is an extreme rule in order or high expectations is set upon in a person, in which leads them to a no sense of self or individuality. Recently, there has been cases where someone got committed suicide at Surya KLCC shopping mall. This happened around last month on 21st of April 2021, where this person jumped off from a high floor and landed her head on an escalator. It is very dangerous and she died instantly at that exact point. My point is that suicide can happen anywhere and anytime. So for us, we need to be more cautious and find a way on how to prevent these actions from happening again. Another question arises is, why do teenagers commit suicide? In my opinion, there are many factors such as bullying, depression, sexual abuse, and unsupportive family or friends. Bullied is when the teenagers kept being bullied and they feel weak, and they think that by committing suicide is a way to stop the suffering of getting bullied. Next, depression. Depression may come from stress or pressure. Stress may come from work, studies, or even family, in which it will pressure him or her too much to a point where he or she will find no purpose of living anymore. Instead, they think that by committing suicide is the solution. How about sexual abuse? For instance, a young girl who was sexually abused, like rape, committed suicide as she could not bear the child of the rapist inside her. She could not stand the humiliation and shame by others after she got raped. Thus, committing suicide is the easiest solution. Lastly, unsupportive family or friends. By feeling isolated, it is not applicable for everyone. Some do feel okay with being an introvert, but some do not. Without support from family or friends, he or she will feel alone and no one cares about him or her. He or she will feel useless in everybody's life, thus committing suicide. Now, how can you tell that someone is attempting suicide? Actually, it can be seen from the person's behavior, such as frequent suicide talk, someone who always talk about suicide, suicide news, or even the methods on how to suicide. Secondly, the feeling guilty or hopeless, someone who always feels guilty and useless in everything that they did. Other than that, hints on not being around anymore, someone who always feels isolated and gloomy, keep telling people that they will not being around anymore without any particular reason. Lastly, lose interest and started to give away their favorite things to others. So, what can you do to prevent teenage suicide? In my opinion, there are many ways to prevent them, such as seek professional help, share your own feelings, always listening and avoid isolation, avoid piling up depression, and recommend to exercise. Firstly, by seeking professional help, they can help these kind of people more efficiently and effectively in preventing them from suicide. Secondly, always share your feelings. It is not a good idea to bottle up your feelings and emotion for too long, as it will corrupt your mind and your body. Instead, you should release all your emotions and feelings by sharing with others and provide reliefment to your mind. Other than that, you should always listening and avoid isolation. As in a friend point of view, you should always listen to others' problem because we might not know what their current condition and what they have gone through in their life. So it is better to ask before anything bad happens. Next, avoid piling up depression. It is okay to depress. However, you should not keep it for too long. You should move on and get your back up to start a new leaf. Excessive depression will get you nowhere. Lastly, regular exercise is proven to reduce stress. Rather than just a hobby to become stronger, it also provides meditation to your mind and thus prevent suicide. In a nutshell, we as a person, we should appreciate and love ourselves more. You should never doubt on yourself on something that is not very trivial and important. And also, you should surround yourself with positivity. Remember this, you are important. Your feelings matters, your story matters, and your life matters. You are alive for a reason. There is a quote that said that suicide does not end the chances of life getting worse. However, it eliminates of it getting any better. Last but not least, rain will always come, but it never stays. Instead, the rainbow will rise afterwards. That's all for me. Thank you.